Time is 10:01. We are officially in session. We are going to have prayer by Reverend Bob Burchell. He is the Director of Chaplain Ministries for Indiana Wesleyan University National and Global Campuses, followed by Mr. Bardsley leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you would stand with me, please.
Would you bow as we pray together? O God, our Heavenly Father, we acknowledge you first and foremost, for as the Apostle Paul in Romans 11:28 recognized, from you and through you and for you are all things. And so we acknowledge that. And we also thank you. We thank you for your goodness. We thank you for your kindness. We thank you for your faithfulness. And then, Lord, we ask that you will be here present, guiding this meeting. May you bless every deliberation, every decision, every conversation, Lord, and may your will be done. We ask for wisdom, and we ask for your favor and blessing, and I pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in facing the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bob. All right. All three commissioners are present. Commissioner Bardsley, Commissioner Wright, and myself. So before we get into the approval of current claims, minutes, and payroll, I did want to announce that we do have a slight change to the agenda, and I just want to address that really quick. We are not going to be doing public comments today, and there's two reasons for that, really. Number one, we do have a full agenda today, and in looking at it and discussing it, the meeting should probably run for a while. And then not only that, afterward, I'm kind of butted up meetings-wise. I have a couple meetings with department heads, have a meeting with an outside vendor today, and then I have a meeting outside of that afterwards. So in the sake of time and being cognizant of everybody's time today, we're not going to do public comments. And then also I did want to address this just really quick. At the last meeting, I don't know if you were here or not, but so I read a statement, a 30-second statement about being professional and about doing the public comments in an orderly and respectful fashion. And last time that we had our meeting, we had a gentleman use profanity during his portion of the public comments. We had two people shouting comments to one of the commissioners without being recognized by the president and being at the podium. And I just want to stress that the public comments portion of these meetings, we are going to be respectful and we are going to do it in an orderly fashion. I feel like the last meeting, it was kind of getting out of hand a little bit. And so to not do public comments today is not being retaliatory. I don't mean it that way. It's just I feel like everybody needs to take a deep breath, and we're not going to do it today. We will probably go back to it the next meeting, but I think today we just need to take a breath, and we're not going to have any public comments for this meeting. If you did come and you had something to say, you feel it's important, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to listen to it and pass it on to my colleagues, to the other commissioners. My number, my email is on the website. I'm easy to get a hold of. And I also did want to announce that because during the public comments part, we do get a lot of questions about the meeting that we're going to have on solar, and we are working on putting that together. I'm thinking March. I'm thinking towards the end of March. Justin is kind of heading that up for us, and so at the next meeting, hopefully we have a little bit more information for you on that. So we are planning on doing that in the next month, the next 6 weeks. So I wanted to give you an update on that. We don't have anything set in stone yet, but we are working on it, and Justin's kind of heading that up for us. So I wanted to get that out of the way, and we'll move on to the meeting. Did I miss anything?
I think that's it.
So, okay. Approval of current claims, minutes, and payroll. So claims and payroll, we are ratifying for February 12th, 2024, general, $266,336.18. Other, $73,215.41. Highway Department, $4,738.65, for a grand total of $344,290.24. That was pre-approved for February 12th, 2024, so we are ratifying the pre-approval.
I would move to ratify the pre-approval of 2/12/2024.
Second.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Bardsley with support from Commissioner Wright. Any questions or concerns? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. For February 20th, 2024, we are needing an approval on that. General is $105,335.81. Other is $123,235.67. Highway Department, $39,928.22, for a grand total of $268,499.70. Any questions, gentlemen? I'll entertain a motion.
I'd move to approve the February 20 claims as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Mr. Wright. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So approved. For payroll number 4, pre-approval was given on February 13th, 2024. Pay was dated 2/16/2024. Gross amount $626,533.57. We do not discuss payroll, so I will entertain a motion.
Motion to ratify payroll number 4.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bardsley, second by Mr. Wright. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Gentlemen, we have minutes from December 4th, 2023. I believe we've all reviewed those. Any other questions, discussions, or concern on that? I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
Mr. President, I would move that we pass the minutes from the December 4th, 2023 Commissioners meeting.
Support.
Approval by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So moved. Aye. Remind me, for the monthly report, the clerk, we just accept that, correct? Okay. Monthly report, clerk of the circuit court, month ending January 31st, 2024. We will receive that. You gentlemen have any questions?
No.
I think that does it for claims, minutes, payroll, and monthly report. We will move on to communications and board updates. Elected officials, boards, special committees. Anybody? Is Mr. Jackson in the house? No? IT report.
I got one thing for you, gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
No, it's for a good cause.
All right.
So,
Is it your cause?
yep. Well, it's for everybody, I like to think. As you know, we've been in the process of redoing the council chambers to better improve the quality of the meetings and everything like that. And, we've been looking into a more robust microphone system. Currently, we use the ones on the table, and those have worked pretty good for the most part, but we have had issues where, some people push them out of the way or they turn them off, and then when people go back to listen to them, there could be issues where you can't hear the person that well. So, I talked with, Sweetwater, and, our rep, he suggested the, Shure Stem ceiling, microphone system. So basically, they're like, ceiling microphones, and they're like, ceiling tiles, basically, and it's a single microphone that contains 100 microphones in each one. And I gave him a layout of the room, and he suggested 3 of them. And he thinks that and the controller would cover the speaker area, along with the commissioners as well. Like I said, they are a little pricey, but it would come out of my equipment budget. And the total for the 3 microphones and the hub where they all run to is $9,156.
Marcus, I apologize. You kind of lost me on the setup.
Yeah.
Are they hanging from the ceiling?
Mhm.
Are they- So they'll be hanging from the tiles?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
What about the installation? Does
We'll do it. Yeah, the nice thing about these is they use Cat 5 and Cat 6, so it doesn't require any special cabling. I mean, we work with that all the time. So we'll be able to run everything and install it and set it up. Then the nice part about it is we don't have to replace, batteries and stuff every week. So I think it'll clean the setup up and it'll free up desk space, and you don't have to worry about people not getting picked up.
You guys know my opinion on it. I know nothing about IT, so I always defer to the IT guys, so.
I think that in the day and age where we are required by law now to video and have audio, we need something that's going to pick up instead of any garbled. I mean, there's been plenty of minutes that we didn't know what someone said simply because the mic system was not working. So it makes sense to me to take that step,
Okay.
especially since it's in his budget and he can do it.
That's what I'm thinking. So, Marcus, you're taking a look at just around the horseshoe here, is that what you're kind of doing?
Yeah, so we were looking at 3 of them, so it'd probably be one that would go over here, one that would go over here in this area, and then one that would go probably over there.
Okay, so it'd take up the whole room then, is it what you're trying to
Yeah,
cover?
and you can dial in the settings and stuff to
Okay.
how you want it to capture audio.
Okay,
So it seemed pretty nice from the demo they showed me. So,
and you've got the funds in your account?
yep, correct.
Who's the company? Will be
It's
Sweetwater.
Sure, but I mean, we're buying them from Sweetwater, and we bought equipment from them before when the pandemic hit. They helped us build a portable recording system for the courts when they were doing jury selection out at the Bethel Church. So they've helped us out quite a bit.
Do we need that in the form of a motion?
To authorize
Yeah, I
work on
believe
the
so.
facility.
I would make a motion that we accept the bid. It was $9,156 or
Yeah, correct. Yep.
$9,156 for a new
Yep.
mic system for the council chambers here.
I'd second that.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley to accept the proposal for the new mic system for $9,156. Any other questions or concerns? Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote, or I'll ask for a motion, I'm sorry.
We did it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yep, we did.
Yep, motion by Mr. Wright, second by Mr. Bardsley. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
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 And
So moved.
good work. I mean, the owl getting
Yeah.
the owl hung and
Yeah, I like-
mics. I think that's probably the last piece to really kind of get the room ready.
Yeah, that,
ready.
and we're looking to get, I still need to get with Vince. They've been busy since they've been short a person, but now that they got somebody, I'm thinking we can get them in here to get that card out and free up more room. So I know that's the other piece. But a lot of it, we're looking to take from over here and to put it in this back room over here.
Okay.
So
Good, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you.
Thanks again, gentlemen.
Yep. Up next, Highway Department. Mr. White. Morning.
Update you on a few projects. We were out all weekend plowing snow and putting salt and sand down. Probably put over 200 ton of salt and sand down. So we used quite a bit. And like I said, we worked both Saturday and Sunday pretty much all day. So getting that taken care of. Next thing I was going to bring up is the Bridge 84, that parcel that I emailed you guys about last week. Just kind of wanted to get that on record that we were parcel number 1 for Bridge 84. We ended up agreeing to pay the $3,000 amount for the compensation of their land that will be on our right-of-way from now on. So I just wanted to bring that up in the meeting, so you had it on record?
Does that free us up from the information request?
Yes.
And
Yeah, in fact,
Kyle's been notified?
yes, I was calling them today, United, to make sure that that was all taken care of. I know the buyer talked to him last week, and I want to just make sure that was off the agenda. So I will check again this afternoon and make sure that we don't have to do nothing else on that, so.
Okay.
The next thing I had to bring up is we have a thing that we've had in contract for about 6 years now where they basically clean our fuel tanks for our gasoline, off-road, etc. And we usually do a 3-year contract. Mark, if you remember this, we do a 3-year contract. I got some quotes from 2 different companies for cleaning the 3 fuel tanks once a year. We used to do it twice a year, but I think we're pretty well caught up where once a year will be all right. We'll do it in the fall of the year, and then we'll be all right. So have a price quote from Optimum, OPTUM, Petroleum Services. Their quote for doing 3 tanks for 3 years is $2,500. And the company that we used in the past is called Clean Fuel National. And they gave me a price quote for doing 2 cleanings a year, which I told them I really didn't want that. So their price was for that $7,976. If they did it once a year, don't ask me why. I called to make sure, $16,032. They gave me 52% discount for doing it twice a year. I even called the lady again to make sure I was reading it right. So she said that's the way the company works. And I said, okay, just want to make sure I'm on the same page as what. So I'd like to recommend we use Optimum. It's, like I said, a 3-year contract for $2,500 a year. And if you do approve it, I suppose probably Mr. Stewart ought to sign it since it's a contract.
Okay. We need a motion on that.
Yeah, I would move that we go with the Optum tank cleaning company at $2,500. That's $2,500 a year
Right.
for the next 3 years, and have the president sign off for the Board of Commissioners.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Bardsley, second by Mr. Wright. Any other concerns, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Next thing I was going to bring up, we was going to try to pour the bridge deck on Bridge 16 this morning out on EOW, but due to the weather, we're either going to do it tomorrow or the one day this week if the rain don't mess us up. So hopefully by Monday it's done, poured the deck is. So just to update you on that. I did get a quote from a company on painting our office spaces out in the highway department. I did get a quote from them on doing that, but I'd like to hold off because there's one room that we would like to remove the wall, and I know I'd have to get your permission and everything, but I'd like to see how much it's gonna cost to do that before I present the painting quote, if that's all right. So I will let you know when I get that. The gentleman that brought the painter guy brought a gentleman out to look at it, but he hasn't gave me a quote yet, so I I would like to see. We have like 2 break rooms right now, and I'd like to make one big one kind of thing, so I'll bring you pictures and everything, so. Let you update, we've worked with the area plan. We've got 2 unsafe structures down this year. We're supposed to start another one next week, working with them. And what else was it? I would like to recommend, I've been working with the paving company and liquid asphalt company. They would like to extend their bid from 2023 to 2024, which is a real good deal. So I'd like to extend our liquid asphalt with asphalt materials and also our paving asphalt with Brooks Construction. And they will meet the same price as 2023 as what they did in 2024. So that's a big cost savings. So I'd like to recommend that, and if you would vote on that, so I got it something on public records, so.
Any paperwork, or are we just extending the contract?
It's just extending the contract. They said if you need something, they'll be glad to get it, or if they said it's in the meeting minutes, that should be justification for them, so.
That's a pretty good deal for not
Yeah, there's
increasing
not
price.
increasing price.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
That doesn't happen much, so.
Yeah.
So, need a motion?
Yes,
I
sir.
would make a motion that we go with asphalt materials, correct?
On the liquid side and Brooks Construction on the paving side.
That's it.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Mr. Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley to extend those contracts, asphalt material and Brooks Construction. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
And I guess you want to bring up about the Boys and Girls Club, or is that all taken care of?
That's taken care of.
Okay. I was the one that kind of ramrod the Boys and Girls Club just to make sure that I contacted their attorney, because if you remember, there was a little concern about environmental and stuff, and so working with Justin, we got that all taken care of, so that's deeded over to them.
Good.
And all that good stuff, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you for allowing us to build a storage building out the highway garage. We do have it all filled up with the pictures if you see, and so it did help us tremendously. And the lean-to, we'll put all of our snow plows in when we get done with them in the summer months, so that'll be all full with those. It's really nice having everything in one location. I have to transport back and forth and everything else, so thank you. I kind of put what we've got in it so far, with the concrete and everything else, the wall, and even the price of repairing the roof where it blew up on top and everything, so we've included all that. But so just thank you for allowing us to build that. Makes a good building for the highway department and the community, so keeps stuff in out of the weather. You know, if you keep it out of the weather, I think it'll last a whole lot longer, so.
Yeah.
That's all I have today, unless you gentlemen have anything.
Mr. White, just a real quick question. I know, attended a Sweetser Town Council meeting last year, and we were talking about the sealer machine that they were asking. I remember I come to you and you said you don't have anything that's small, because they're looking at the Sweetser Switch Trail, that 4 miles, and the sealing is kind of the pavement is kind of going by the wayside, and they wanted to go ahead and buy a new sealer. So thought that would be maybe some good use of ARPA funds to help out one of our smaller communities. It's to the tune of about $25,000. But I've kind of reconsidered that just a little bit, to actually have it for the county and make it available to all communities that would have a small need for it. Are you able to handle taking on that responsibility of making sure that it comes back the same way it went out and all that kind of stuff? Is that something that you would do for us?
Yep, that'd be fine with me, and like I said, we could probably use it for the county too, for
Okay.
different things, so.
To me, instead of just one town having it, everybody
Right.
could use it. And the deal is, if they do anything to it, they need to
Fix it,
fix it,
yep,
right?
yep,
But that's kind of what I'm envisioning, if that ARPA money is available to
Be
them.
used for multiple purposes.
That's correct.
Instead of one purpose,
That's
maybe
correct.
once every other year. or
Correct.
some- You know, yeah.
yeah, that'd be fine with me.
You okay with that?
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
yep, all I got.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
We have no old business to discuss, so we will move on to new business. Item 1, electronic medical records agreement has been tabled. So we will move on to number 2, land use table amendment. Is Mr. Malat on with us?
He's online.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. Got a couple of quick ones. Starting off, I think you guys have land use table up first. Here is just noting in our land use table, I brought Justin down a land use table to highlight, to kind of show you what's missing.
Which I failed to bring to the meeting, Ryan.
Oh.
Apologies.
Okay, currently in our land use table for mobile home, manufactured home, travel trailer and camper sales and rentals. According to our land use table, those are not allowed in a mobile home district. Obviously, our mobile home, parks do a lot of sales and rentals of mobile homes and manufactured homes. So here, we're just asking to correct the land use table to put an X in that column to allow mobile home, manufactured home, travel trailer, and camper sales and rentals to be allowed in mobile home districts by right.
Did I hear that by right?
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
currently it's not allowed, and it's pretty much all mobile home parks do. And it kind of goes along with our next one too.
So the table that he gave me this morning, which I was supposed to bring here, but didn't, it just shows that the X is not on there.
Yeah, you-
Ryan, we approved this at the area plan.
Yes. Yes,
It-
this went to the area plan public hearing, and was sent forward with a favorable recommendation.
Yeah, I believe it was unanimous, if I'm remembering correctly.
What ordinance would probably-
Oh, let's see. What ordinance would that be? 3? So I will entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 3-2024.
I would be happy to
Amending the
make
land
that
use table.
motion for ordinance number 3 of 2024, amending the land use table as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Barsley, second by Mr. Wright to approve ordinance 3-2023, authorizing an ordinance amending the land use table. Any other questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Okay, so for our next one, again, as we've talked about, and something that's going to come along with the comprehensive plan, as we get into the comprehensive plan, we're going to start looking at zoning maps and use tables. Right now, currently, about half of the public hearings that we go to are due to improper maps and land use tables. So what I have the next one I have in front of you, this is Stonecrest Manor Mobile Home Park. We were doing a review for building permits for the park when we noticed that the entire mobile home park is zoned residential suburban. And residential suburban would not allow mobile homes. So, again, here is a correction to our zoning. We asked Stonecrest to come in and rezone at no charge, try to correct it. So Here, we're asking that they be rezoned from residential suburban to MH, which is the mobile home park district. This also, we had a public hearing with the Area Plan Commission and was sent forward with a favorable recommendation.
I take it, this would be number 4, correct? I'm good. 4. Mr. President, I would move that we pass General Ordinance number 4, 2024, an ordinance to amend Grant County Code Section 153, area-wide zoning ordinance, and providing for the effective date thereof. And this would be common address of 2801 South Stone Road.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Barnsley to approve General Ordinance number 4-2024. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Wait, hang on just a second, Mr. Malat. Just a question. Last meeting, we did throw the solar into a moratorium.
Yep.
We didn't really specify what solar we were allowing to be put in the moratorium. So, and I'm pretty sure we want to kind of call that industrial solar, and we did not specify residential solar, because right now, we've got all solar in a moratorium. And so I don't know, have you had any residential people come to you yet, Mr. Malat?
No, not yet, but for the last 2 years, we've had record numbers of residential solar coming in. And that was my question. In our ordinance, we have major, minor, and residential. Are we wanting to include residential, which is generally governed by the Indiana Building Code? That was my question to the commissioners. Does it include residential, or is it also?
I would say no. It does not include residential.
I would say it would have been our intent to say no. What we probably should do is amend our motion from last time to specifically say that doesn't include residential.
And on the residential side, Mr. Malat, is there a size or
Generally 1 acre or less.
1 acre or less?
Yeah, and we're talking roof mounted minor arrays, 1 acre or less, and then up to 10 acres is a minor, and over 10 is a major.
Okay.
My opinion is it does not include residential.
If you want to do that by consent, I mean, as long as we're agreeing to that caveat, we need to memorialize it either by consent or by a motion. That's okay.
Okay.
But it would include major and minor.
The moratorium.
Yes.
The moratorium, yes, major and minor.
Yes.
That's correct.
But not residential.
But not residential. Okay, I would put that in a consensus form
Yeah.
of whatever we
We're all
want
Mm-hmm.
in
to do.
agreement.
Yeah, we
Okay.
are. Yep.
Okay, there you have it, Mr. Malat. Residential is consented to.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Community Corrections Annual Report for 2023. Mr. Cunningham.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Did you guys get copies of this? I brought some extra in just in case.
I don't see it in the packet. But
Okay, I got some extra here.
it was good.
And-
Yeah.
And
Trying to save me.
I don't blame you. There you go. There's some trees for you. And I sent that to you electronically, Angie, so you'd have it. So this is a requirement of our community corrections grant that we receive. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you view it, you're going to see me for the next several meetings coming to you about our community corrections grant. The grant we receive covers the community corrections services that we provide in electronic monitoring supervision. It also covers our reentry court that we have under the Honorable Judge Todd, and then it also covers jail treatment programming that we offer in the jail for MRT and seeking safety. So one of the things that are a requirement, this is approved by our Community Corrections Advisory Board and then provided to you for approval, and then it goes off to the state. And it's one of the requirements, again, for us receiving the grant dollars. You'll see our total grant dollars that we receive on the report of $1,325,078, and that's for all three sections that we cover. I have to provide for them some of the highlights that we see, and I don't want to steal Judge Spitzer's thunder. He'll be doing a State of the Judiciary this Wednesday at the council meeting, and he'll cover a lot of the data that's in here. But I know you've got a busy morning. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Really, all that's required for the grant is a approval of the annual report that's already been approved by the advisory board. I'll answer any questions that you might have. There's a lot of information here.
I took a brief look at it over the weekend. I didn't do a deep dive, but
Hopefully you didn't drown.
None of our current funds in grants, we're not doing much on the mental health side yet, are we? That's still going to be folded in?
We actually submitted for and received, so we have a great partnership right now, Commissioner, with Radiant Health. And Lisa and her group, they actually wrote and received a SAMHSA grant that's going to provide intensive services for law enforcement so that they can bring individuals in. I'm sure in your role as chaplain, you've seen, deputies having to spend an inordinate amount of time in the emergency room waiting for someone to be cleared to go over to Radiant. Well, that will cease to be an issue because they'll have a direct access facility. And then it also covers crisis care. So they have teams that will be able to go out and respond to individuals who have a mental health issue. And the third part that, while those other two do affect us, has the most dramatic effect on our criminal justice system, and that's a mental health court. So they've secured funding for 5 years for that. We have a companion grant that goes with that, that Melissa Stevenson put together for our that's our Director of Court Services, put together. And so we'll be starting here by July 1st with a mental health court. So it's exciting time. We do have, we haven't, the sheriff and I haven't had a chance to talk about it, but as part of our jail treatment dollars that we have the opportunity to be able to expand. Right now with MRT, deals with substance abuse primarily. Seeking Safety works with substance abuse, but trauma, specifically domestic trauma and issues related with female population. But there is the opportunity to work with Radiant Health to be able to do some things mental health-wise in the jail. And so the state has put a lot of focus on it. We're lucky enough that we have some dedicated people with Radiant that were looking at all of this collectively. And our advisory board, it's the advisory board and the justice, the local, they call it local JRAC, we call it our local advisory council. But we've had work groups working on this for, about 18, 19 months. And specifically talking about issues related to mental health. So, sorry it's a long answer, but if you can't tell, I'm passionate about what I do, so I tend to probably talk a lot more about stuff than I should. So if you do have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
so we need a, correct me if I'm wrong, we need a motion to approve
The report.
the report.
I'll make that motion to approve the report for the grant funded for the Community Corrections Reentry Court Jail Treatment.
I will second that.
So we have a motion from Mr. Wright, second by Mr. Bardsley, to approve the Community Corrections Annual Report for 2023. Does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Cunningham at this time? Hearing none, I will ask for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Thank you. Could I make one more comment?
Sure.
Okay, so many times I know you guys in the seats that you have people come to you and usually they have a complaint or a concern. And you don't really get to hear the good things, but I just wanted to give a shout out to our IT department and Marcus. We've had a couple of issues that have happened over in our area, and they are always so responsive to anything that we have or that we need. We were doing a training on the new jail case management system that was coming into play, and by the time I got down there, Marcus, Chris, Brian, they were all working to like solve, our issues. And so, many times you get complaints or different things that come up, but they are very responsive and very good at what they do. So, you don't need to tip me or anything on this. It's just,
I'll give you the money.
yeah. Anyway, but they do a great job for us.
They
so.
do.
Good.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Number 5 on our agenda has been tabled for the day as well.
We'll be hearing number 5. Number 6 has been tabled.
Number six.
Oh, I'm sorry. Number 6 is yes. Acceptance of personal property resolution, Sheriff Garcia.
Mr. President, members of the commission, thank you for having us here. I'm just going to address something, and Captain Haley will talk about the transfer of property. The reason we canceled or took out number 6 was we are waiting for the city attorney to look at that agreement. We were hoping they'd have it done before today. They didn't have it done, so we will bring that back at a later date.
Okay.
So I'll have Captain Haley address the item at hand.
Thank you.
Hello. So we were contacted, the Sheriff's Department was contacted by Jeff Edwards, who's in charge of transportation for the city of Marion, who offered a couple of city buses to the Sheriff's Department. They recently replaced some buses, and they offered a couple of them to us. I know the fire department and the police department for the city has each accepted one. And so we're asking for your approval for us to accept 2 of those buses that they are willing to give to us for, I think the cost is $1 per bus.
I think I might ask this question. You might just tell us what the plans are for those 2 buses.
We got a couple plans. Of course, at the Sheriff's Department, it's always good to have something for evacuations. That'd be something that we can utilize it for. Another thing that we would utilize it for is transport of inmates if we had to do that. And the third would be for our training, which would be firearms, because we have a lot of equipment to transport to the range. Same way with EVOC, with our transportation of the equipment and stuff that we need to set up at the airport for that every year. So there's quite a bit of equipment that goes into that, and the transportation, we can use those buses for that.
Okay.
Price is right.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't really beat that.
So do we need to put this in the form of a motion then?
We need a resolution.
All right.
We have a number.
4. Mr. President, I would move that we pass resolution number 2024 to accept 2 buses from the city of Marion.
I will second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley, to approve resolution number 4-2024. Any other questions or concerns? Any questions for Mr. Haley? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Number 6 has been tabled, as we just heard. Number 7 on our list, liability renewal presentation. Greg Lane from IMG.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, sir.
Back in October, our team at IMG met with Justin and his team to start prepping for the renewal for the county. You guys have been, the county's been insured with Liberty Mutual for the last 5 years. We look each year, and Liberty approached us in October and indicated that their state loss ratio in the state of Indiana was 130%. So basically, for every dollar they were collecting, they're paying out $1.30. The other issue they mentioned was that jails in Indiana it's become a hot topic with overcrowding. So we knew we needed to go out to market. Liberty Mutual and Travelers, who we went to, both opted to not quote the law professional coverage within the policy. So we've done a lot of work. I know Justin has worked with, we got Travelers in this year to actually look at the county property. They came out, did an inspection. I will tell you that I know there's some plans, future plans, possibly down the road for a jail when that does, as you change procedures, whatnot, we'll make sure we keep in touch with Justin, so we're keeping up on that. You guys were distributed a packet last week. The last year's premium total was $818,711. Liberty came in the renewal at $1,022,024, which would have been a significant increase. We were able to, with a combination of Travelers and IPEP does your work comp. Liberty never did the work comp. We were able to get them in just under the 818 at 815 on the renewal. One note, one difference in coverage is actually a broader coverage is Travelers has taken the position going back. We've talked in the past couple of years about terrorism. Travelers includes it. You cannot exclude it. So it is in there. We have excluded it in the past, but it is back in the policy. Travelers does not give you the option to remove it. The other hot topic is cyber. I will tell you that I'm happy to report that cyber, while still active, has the pricing has come down a little bit or stabilized. We were seeing some big increases. It stabilized this year. We kept the premium basically the same. The big difference was we did use an Axis, which is actually an AIG company that has the law coverage. And to give you an idea, we did go out and we went to 7 different carriers for quotes on that. The highest quote we got was $200,000 for just the law professional, that one piece. We ended up getting it at $90,000 with Axis. Actually, I'm sorry, $82,581. Sorry. So we're recommending that the county go with Travelers on the package, IPEP on the work comp, and then you've got your specialty coverages with your accident coverage, and then on the law professional with the new company. And Travelers and the new law professional will replace Liberty Mutual.
And this would take effect when?
This takes effect, it will take effect February 15th.
Travelers, was there concern about jail overcrowding with Travelers? Didn't we talk a little bit about
There
that?
was, yes.
Yes.
They refused to quote it.
And that's why we went to option 2.
Yeah, option 2, yeah, correct.
Okay.
Both Travelers and Liberty Mutual opted to not quote the law professional.
Okay.
And I will tell you, I know there's other counties here in the state that are also experiencing the same type of setbacks, if you will. So the monoline market, getting that coverage on a tower basis individually, which the good news is we kept the limits the same. You didn't lose the
right.
limits. But it has to do with the overcrowding. And I guess it's finally come to a head a little bit, at least with, I know, other counties. So it's becoming an issue.
Do you see where it is on the sheet here?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, that option 2 is the axis.
Yep, gotcha.
Speaking of.
Okay.
So that gap is covered,
Okay.
putting the whole state on notice as
Yeah.
with that. But when we look at the bottom lines and what we're spending this year for
Yeah.
what you're quoting, we're saving $3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're actually saving money
Yeah.
with the process. So.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, that's well done. Well done. Just add it to the list for the jail concerns. So, Gentlemen, any other questions for Mr. Lane?
I believe so.
If anybody has any questions or something comes up later, feel free to reach out, and I'll get back with you as quickly as possible.
Do we need to put this in the form of a motion? Mr. President, I would move that we agree with the travelers recommended for 2024 and 2025 for insurance at $815,082.68.
I will second that.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Wright, a second by Commissioner Bardsley to approve the liability renewal presentation as presented by Mr. Lane and as we have in our hands here. So if there's no other discussion or questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for your
all.
work.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Yep, take care.
Good job, Justin. That's excellent.
Yeah, a lot of work,
Yep.
especially with the claims that we've had last year.
Yeah.
With the EMS building catching fire and the roof being ripped off the new building that Mr. White just showed us in a windstorm.
Yeah, I mean, all credit goes to Greg and
Yeah.
Teresa. And IMG is always good to work with.
Yep.
Up next on our agenda before you gentlemen, we have a termination of services ratification. I went ahead and ratified, pre-approved we're terminating our contract with KSM. And I went ahead and pre-approved that. I just need that ratified.
Termination took place February 9th.
And if you have any questions about that, I'd be more than happy to answer. I believe you guys are in the loop.
Just for the record, I think this is because we had some change in administrative lead that wasn't going to be able to give us everything that we asked for, and you did the right thing by making that call, and I would move to approve the ratification of the termination of KSM as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Mr. Wright. Any other questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. So moved. Up next, we have tax sale certification resolution. Justin, help me out with that. We are pulling,
This was drafted from the county attorney, and it's just stating that the Oldina property and what is left of the mall has been pulled from the tax sale.
okay. And what resolution number 5? Any discussions, gentlemen?
I would move to approve resolution number 5, 2024, amended resolution identifying tax sale certificates to be pulled from the tax sale as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bardsley, second by Mr. Wright. Any other questions? Discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Up next, we have a appointment to the BZA committee. Commissioner Wright, would you like to speak on that?
Sure. Yes, I would. Mr. Ron Howell has decided to step down from his position that we currently have on the BZA board, and want to thank him for his years of service. He's given us quite a few number of years, and want to thank him for doing that. I would like to put forth the name of Daniel Young. Daniel Young owns Kingdom Roofing Systems, and well-educated when it comes to building codes and things. I think he'll be a great fit for the BZA and lend a lot of credence to that board. So I'd like to put that name out there.
I agree. I agree with everything you just said, so.
I think you or I had the opportunity, and you did interview him.
I did. He talked to me a while back about being interested in this, and he actually reached out to me, and I called him and had a great discussion with him. Appreciated his willingness to serve. It's a non-paying job, as all the members of the BZA and the APC do. So to have somebody with his qualifications, since moving here, he's founded over 5 companies here in Grant County. And he's, like I say, he'll be a good asset on that building, on that BZA.
Good. Any other discussion at this time?
Did you bring his name forward
As a recommendation, I would recommend him to take one of our seats on the BZA.
Is that a motion or a recommendation?
That's a motion. I'm so sorry. I would move.
Wonder where it
I
might
would
be.
move that we place Daniel Young on the BZA as our representative.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Wright, finally.
So
Second.
sorry. Wrong terminology. So sorry.
Second by Commissioner Bardsley. Sounds like there's no other questions or discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. So moved. Our thanks again to Mr. Howell for his service.
Yes.
And then also to Mr. Young for his willingness to step up and serve on that committee. So we appreciate that.
If I could, Ryan, are you still on? Mr. Malat,
Yeah.
is there any official appointment paperwork that needs filled out? I couldn't find any.
I would just need a letter from you guys appointing him with his address, phone number, email.
Okay, I'll get it to you this week.
Okay, thank you.
We do have a couple of other items that's not listed on the agenda that we need to discuss. First up, we have entered into, we need an approval. We have entered into an agreement with Craig Duvall. And basically that contract is just for them to represent us, represent Grant County's interests at a state level for some certain issues and some matters that may or may not come up. So if you have any questions about that, we can discuss. If not, I will entertain a motion.
President's already taken motion, action on our behalf and seeks a ratification of that.
Approval of the ratification. Yes, sir.
I would move to approve the agreement our president's already agreed to, so
Okay.
I would move to approve that.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, a second by Commissioner Wright to approve the contract that we've entered into with Craig Duvall to approve the ratification. If there's no other questions or comments, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. So moved. And then we've also had a request from the King's Academy, and Commissioner Bardsley, I'll ask that you speak to that, if you would, please.
I was approached by the Director of Operations actually about a month plus ago, and just had the opportunity last week to tour the property. King's Academy is seeking support and ARPA funds for the removal of the 1903 building. That area plan, I think, in some form or fashion is already said is unusable, uninhabitable, and the request has come to us. You have copies of that letter. We also have received a letter of support from Bob Goins, Mayor of Jonesboro, and so I would like to present this as one of the private 501c3s that is asking for ARPA funds. Mr. Schultz is with us in the room if you have any questions But this is when you look at structures, it's in bad shape. It's a beautiful building on the exterior, but inside, it just does not look like it can be reclaimed. And I would agree with what Area Plan has already kind of thought about, that it needs to be removed in some form or fashion. If you have questions for Mr. Stoltz, I'm sure he'd be glad to step up. And
So is this to remove the building? That's
this
what-
is to remove the building, not to do any type of reconstruction or repair.
If you have something to answer, yeah, come on up, and if you'd like to speak to that, that'd be great.
Yes, as Mr. Bardley said, the building is just in bad shape. I mean, it's dangerous, and you have the letters there in front of you. I mean, I get calls from the police department often where we have kids or whoever's wanting to get in the building because it's on one of the haunted lists for Indiana. And Mr. Bardley can attest, and so can Mr. Malott, who's online here, that it wouldn't take much to fall through one of those floors and go all the way down. It's a dangerous issue. Part of the struggle as well is that the ceiling at the roof is starting to cave in places, and our electricity for the building that we occupy comes through that building. So we'd have to get our electricity moved before we could take that building down. And my concern is that building would come down on its own like it did Fairmount High School just a few years ago. We would lose electricity, and it would just be disastrous. We hire 45 people. We got 176 students, K through 12. We're very much a part of the community, very much a part of the county, which all that information I put in the letter there, so.
You gentlemen have any questions for?
So at this point, we would just add it to the kind of wish list for the council to consider?
Take it under advisement, and I do believe that there are some other nonprofits that have started sending us some
Yes.
requests as well,
Yes.
so we'll have to
Weed through all that.
go through that process.
We will add that to we'll add it to the list, sir.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
That was me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Speaking of that, I see Mr. Spalding out there. He has requested also some ARPA money. Do you want to come up, Mr. Spalding, and just kind of share with us about the firemen's radios?
I can. Wasn't prepared, but.
That's okay. That's all right.
As you know, the county has been updating their radio communication systems for emergency personnel to meet the P25 Phase 1 and Phase 2 requirements. Right now, I believe we're full activated on the Phase 1 in July of 2025. We are supposed to flip the switch for Phase 2. Going into the 800 megahertz world, a lot of the volunteer agencies, especially your 13 volunteer fire departments that are your mutual aid group in Grant County, we were all still working off of VHF. We actually still are with our pagers. A couple of the departments, I think, still only have VHF radios both in their trucks and their handhelds. I think back in 08 or 2010, the county actually give the volunteer fire departments some 800 megahertz radios, E.F. Johnson's, and those have since been dropped, ran over, beat up, drowned, or what have you. But we still use some of them. But the fire departments are lacking in the equipment and the funding to be able to purchase the equipment to operate on this system. It a lot of times just creates havoc, to be honest with you. On the fire ground, especially, our guys inside and out of a structure communicate with each other, and we do that via the handhelds. We can do that multiple ways, whether we talk direct radio or we use the system or whatever. But we have fire departments that around us, I'll use Swayze as an example because it's a particularly interesting situation. We have Howard County, Miami County, Grant County, Madison County, and we offer mutual aid to all of those counties. Prior to Grant County going to the 800 megahertz system, nobody had the ability to really communicate on a fire scene with those people. If they come to us or we went to them. And Swayze, we have made accommodations in our radios to be able to communicate with them, which increases the safety but doesn't eliminate it. If we was to bring Fairmount over, they would not be able to do it. If they went to Greentown for something, it would be havoc again on the scene. But in short, Swayze took it upon themselves. We went to our trustee and got a little money, special appropriation to buy some radios. And we also went and got a loan through the Grant County Bank to State Bank to buy another group of radios. That way we have enough for our officers to have them and for our interior firefighters to have them. And we have one mobile and one truck, our primary truck. To say that we are covered all our bases, absolutely not. We're still doing fundraising and stuff to save money to buy a radio or two each year. And what we see coming, especially with the phase 2, is paging difficulties. So we are wanting to get pagers, but all these fire departments have requested anywhere from, we shot for $30,000 each, 13 fire departments, which was $390,000, so that they could at least buy the minimum amount of radios that they felt, or communications equipment that they thought their department needed in order to be safe on a mutual aid situation or on their own, local situation. And the last meeting, I used the word imperative, and in my meeting with Steve, I used the word imperative, and it is imperative that these guys get this money from somewhere and they're able to acquire this equipment, or else not only are the community's lives at stake, so are the firefighters themselves. To me, I'm really passionate about this. We have, our chief and I have been for the last 2 years, doing absolutely everything we can to get the radios and keep our people safe. And short of the fire departments being able to have fundraisers, boot drives, or go out and seek grants, there's really no way for them to get the funding in their budget. There's nowhere to get it. 3 times in a row, all those fire departments as a group went to the Assistance for Firefighters grant. They applied for it. They actually hired a grant writer to try and get it, and they've been denied all 3 times. That was like $1.2 million, and that was to totally equip all the 13 volunteer fire departments with everything they could need that we foresee now, working with, Bobby Jackson and stuff. But I just wanted to, and like I expressed with Steve, I just want you guys to give full consideration to that necessity when you're doing the ARPA funds. I know it was on the list. I'd like to see it moved up to we absolutely have to do this portion of that list. So I appreciate your time, and
390 you're asking is the price.
390 was where they were. I think 325 was the number thrown out at the last meeting, but I think the original number was like 390, and that was $30,000 each for each of the 13 departments that were requesting the money. So, all right.
Thank you.
If you want to give us more, we are not going to complain. So I appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just thought hearing it from Mr.
Yeah.
Spalding is a lot better than hearing it from me. I mean, there's the request, and when it comes to public safety, especially for our firefighters, these are all volunteer guys. I mean, and gals, right? I think when we had the fire out at the EMS building, I think there was 7 gals out there fighting the fire. And so I just truly think that that's something that we really do need to consider. Hard enough to find volunteers, but to ask them to go into some places unsafe without a radio, I think it's kind of above and beyond their call of duty, if you will. I also think that, when it comes to EMTs and things, I mean, these are all volunteer. A lot of these people are volunteer people. We just need to make sure that we're taking care of them. So something to consider as we're going through the ARPA monies. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Spalding.
I can officially update that from 325 to 390 on the list there.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, appreciate that. Madam Auditor, I did not mean to skip over you earlier.
You were hurt.
I'm sure if you had something to add, you would have chimed in, but, okay, perfect. I apologize about that. So, I'm still new at this. So that concludes the new business. Gentlemen, do you have anything else that we need to discuss at this time? If not, our next meeting will be Monday, March 4th, and we are in session, or in recess.